The client for this first case study is a fast-growing bottled tea company that needed to rapidly increase their production due to high demand. In order to achieve this goal, they needed to squeeze every bit of efficiency out of their existing equipment in order to buy time for further expansion. They faced a number of challenges that they would need to overcome. The manual recording of data was unreliable at best and prone to error. There are no systems for capturing real-time data, so they couldn't act upon that quickly. The organization had no visibility into how manufacturing was performing in real time, and disparate systems allowed limited or no integration to see data from multiple areas at once. The goals of this project were, number one, to increase production. They needed a system to provide real-time data that allowed targeted improvements that would provide the highest value. Next, they wanted organizational visibility. They needed a system and a platform that would allow users across the organization to get real-time data and make quick decisions based on reliable insights. And then they wanted that single platform to integrate data from multiple systems and legacy applications into a single trusted platform. So this solution can be summarized by looking at each of its primary parts. The system provided performance management for 3 filling lines. The data from each of these lines was automatically collected from the PLCs through OPC. This data was then used to calculate OEE and other KPIs for each line and piece of equipment. We provided integration with their ERP system in order to download things like production schedules automatically. This prevented errors that typically occur due to duplicating entry into separate systems. We also made use of IIoT smart devices in areas where there were no PLCs readily available to collect data. This allowed us to gather basic data such as bottle counts or line stoppages. We also used a historian to capture process parameters and perform data analysis. This allowed some real-time statistical displays such as average bottles per minute. These real-time displays were then placed on scoreboards throughout the plant. Each one displayed real-time data that was related specifically to that area of the plant and encouraged operator engagement through improvement of their own numbers. We implemented a maintenance management system to replace an existing legacy system, and this allowed new features such as real-time maintenance requests by operators and live status tracking by maintenance supervisors. This also included a system for tracking spare parts and issuing POs to vendors. With the success of the first plant, we also rolled out the same solution to the second facility with all of the previous functionality included from the start. The slide here, if you look at the bottom, shows one of the scoreboards for the box packer area. So operators could look up and see at a glance what their current numbers were. And then the image to the right shows some of the statistics that were available to the maintenance supervisors, including line failures, upcoming scheduled work orders, and high priority requests. Now let's talk about the results. Probably the most important bullet here is that the initial project cost was recouped in 3 months, as Richard referred to earlier. They saw a significant increase in their OEE from the time that the system was initially rolled out. This increase led to a substantial increase in the amount of product that they could get shipped out without any significant changes in assets. They were able to offer incentives to their operators to improve and maintain high OEE and therefore high production numbers. And the improvement in line efficiency meant that less scrap was created due to long downtimes. And then finally, because they were able to get so much more production out of their existing equipment, they were able to put off the construction of their new facility by 18 months. A few additional dashboards shown here to the right. At the top, you can see a dashboard from the maintenance management solution. These show you things like work order statistics and labor hours by priority. And then below that, you can see the current status of each line. At a glance, the plant personnel can see what's being run, how fast it's running, and their OEE broken down by day and shift. We're also heavily engaged in this with this client on a continuous basis, and together we've outlined a number of future phases. They would like to expand their system to integrate all assets not currently in the system. These assets are outside of the typical line, but they could also be well served by knowing their KPIs. They're also looking to replace their existing WMS system and include it in their MoM platform. This includes more integration with their ERP to better track inventory. They're also looking to replace their existing QMS system with a real-time statistical alert system. And they're looking to enhance their current scheduling system with algorithmic scheduling to minimize things like changeover and get even more efficiency out of their lines. And then they're looking at various uses for a visual workflow system that will allow them to create even more streamlined processes for things such as paperwork and quality checks. Oh, and one additional thing worth noting is that we're implementing over the next month an enhancement to their WMS functionality where we installed a barcode scanner to read each pallet going into their cooler warehouse. They're currently getting a few no reads from the barcode scanner, which they found were due to misapplied labels and stretch wrap. So to confirm this, we're adding an IP camera to capture a picture of each no-read pallet as it passes. The IP camera will then be integrated into the MoM platform, and so reporting of the no reads and associated picture are all easily accessible and correlated in a single report.